Before we wander on into the episode, I just want to make sure that everyone goes out there and hits up the YouTube, check out the Spotify, check out Apple, wherever you're listening or watching to this podcast, is to go down, like it, subscribe, hit the bell if it's YouTube. Make sure you're getting those reminders. We do put these out every week. So make sure you do all that. It helps us out. And in the long run, we can make better things. So again, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff.
Overweight ones. You're not getting.
How funny would that be, though?
Oh, it'd be hilarious.
You just see a tubby Sasquatch out there.
But I think that's how we would see him.
Yeah,
it would be a lazy one.
The first one we ever see will be Tubby.
What's up, guys? He's going to a trash can to eat out of a trash can, picking up like half a pizza someone threw away.
Yeah, or a Kit Kat or a Twinkie.
Yeah, exactly. We can wander our way over, because this is Wandering Ways.
What's Bigfoot possibility?
Clink!
Clink, click, clack, clickety clack, the click of the clack. How we doing?
Good. Mine was a little bit longer, like a gong. I did a clink this time,
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah.
I
wonder how
I've been watching. I have a coworker, and we send each other videos, and we play this game, Concussion or Not, where we just send pretty gnarly videos on Instagram back and forth. But sometimes people put funny like audio to these horrific videos.
Oh, I bet.
So sometimes you'll see someone get hit, and he'll be like, "Bong by somebody give it a money."
Yeah.
It's pretty funny. Or what's another one? You'll hear it'll start off and it'll be like, some body wants to like right on the drop they get hit.
That's the I see that one in the Jeep community. That I know which one you're talking about, because it's like they hit like a rock or something.
Yeah, anything they get hit, there's just like some, and then there's a pause and body once told.
That's how it happens, I wonder how our wanderers are doing today. I think it's a nice, beautiful spring day.
We are officially in spring now.
Well, and we're in April, right? I believe when this podcast comes out, it's April, and April, was it April showers bring May flowers?
I hope.
You're right.
I hope there's April showers.
Last year there wasn't in Oregon, I don't think.
Yeah, we got some rain this last weekend, but like it was rumored to rain all day. It was like half a day, and it wasn't rain.
Yeah, no, I get that. The weather, like here in Billings, like these winter storms that like they rained instead of being snow, and then you have like the fact that like it's 70 degrees this Saturday in March in Montana, and you're like, what? It was snow on the ground.
It was like 78 today here.
I mean, it's beautiful weather, don't get me wrong.
It is. It's a tease though, because it's supposed to rain like this weekend and stuff.
Yeah.
So, but that's what Oregon's known for. Oregon's known for teasing you from like February until like June with like beautiful weather, rain, beautiful weather, rain, sometimes multiple times in the same day.
Oh, I totally get that about Oregon. You would leave in the spring or fall. You would leave in jeans and a sweater. You'd want to go home about half the day to put shorts and a t-shirt on. And then later in the day, when it gets dark again, you're like, where are my jeans and sweater? Because it's cold.
Yeah.
Yeah. That must be the weather you're talking about that you're getting now that we're supposed to get this weekend. And I'm like low key debating. I want to get out on the water. I want to take my kayak out and get on the water, and there might still be some ice in spots, but there'll be some spots where there's not ice. And with a hot weekend like this, I think it'll be great up in the mountains.
Yeah, that would be doing a little kayak.
I like it. It's fun. I'm kind of mad because like I hit up Jared and he was like, I was like, what are you, he's like, what are you doing this weekend? And we were talking and he asked me what I was doing. He's like, we should go down to Yellowstone and go like into the park a little bit more. Cause like with the way the weather's being, those roads should be pretty good. And I looked at the maps and all the roads are closed because they're plowing a lot in the park this time of year. And they're getting the park ready. Like in April, May, they're getting the park ready for the traffic. And honestly,
well, they got what, 2 months now from when we're recording this to prime time.
Honestly, yeah, exactly. And I was looking at it, and some of the roads there's going to be some construction going on. You know that bridge that I tell you every time I see a bear at?
Yeah.
That bridge is going to be under construction.
Oh, really?
Yeah, right there going into Lamar Valley this year.
Probably still not going to see a bear there.
No, you won't.
Every time you tell me there's going to be a bear, I always see bears. I've gone by that bridge many times now, haven't seen a bear.
That's right, where we saw that one breastfeed, those 2 cubs, me, Jared, and Thea, and Tyler.
Yeah, that's what you're saying.
No, but then down south going into Tetons, there's going to be some construction there too. So plan wisely, guys, if you're planning on going to the park this summer. I know we are. We got that. I mean, I put it on the agenda. I don't know where. Mark's just getting in the car.
Or Yellowstone, right?
Yeah, for Yellowstone. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm going to be tired. So.
Well, I think that's kind of good. We'll do a nice drive through the park, take in the sights.
I'll be tired, but like I'll be okay to like walk if we need.
Oh, good.
We can get out and hike. I'm not gonna be able to do like some serious hiking, but
we'll do a nice flat trail.
Yeah.
Nothing with elevation because you'll be tired. Your legs will be sore in that sense.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm gonna be tired, but
who knows? We might take you down to the good old hot springs and fix that problem.
Yeah. I was trying to figure out the schedule for that today, but that's different talk. That's different.
We'll talk about that after the podcast because
this is more fun. I mean, the weather is starting to get a little bit better, so we can get outside and do many more things. But
that's what I like about this. The warm weather is you get to see the Rougarou in action more. Like we said, I want to take the kayak out. I want to get on the water. I want to get into the places we haven't been able to get to because of the winter. And I feel like that with the podcast, we sometimes in the winter, we hit that like lull of we're not getting out because like it's -20. I don't want to go anywhere. Or it's piss and rain. I don't want to leave my house.
Yes. No, that's typical winter, so things, we'll get out and do a lot more things. I know I already have. Last weekend, I went on a 40-kilometer bike ride through some trails. So things we'll be able to get out. I think I might have a weekend. I don't know what the weather's supposed to be like. I heard it was going to be rain, but it could be a little bit nicer than I thought this weekend. So maybe I'll get out and do something this weekend as well. But no, today we're not just talking about the weather.
No, we're talking about getting into the weather to look for somebody.
Yeah, no, today we are going to give you some tips, some facts, and some interesting things about the hide and go seek champion still running to this date. Bigfoot or Sasquatch himself. This is all Bigfoot talk today.
Or as Mark likes to call him, our boy Big.
Yeah, our boy Big. This is our boy Big.
Exactly. And I just want to get it started off. He's never killed anybody. Like they tried that one.
Allegedly, he was he killed those farmers in the Sasquatch documentary, which we do a great podcast about that one. So make sure you go check that one out.
Yeah, and I think it's time. I think it's time we drop in a Bigfoot episode. We, like you said, we have the the Sasquatch series on Hulu that we talked about, where they try and frame our boy Big for being a murderer. He ain't no murderer. There's we talked with Bigfoot researcher Rick Rells and his awesome experience in the Bigfoot industry and what they do in I Know Squatch in their Etsy store. We also talked with the Big Red Eye.
Yes.
And his searches of Dogman and Bigfoot. And you get kind of an interest with those 3 episodes, I think, to talk about, as them, you get a diversity of some Sasquatch. And with this one, we're trying to bring you more of the who is Sasquatch or what is Sasquatch. We talk about Mark's Sasquatch encounter where you mistook him for a bear. So this is a fuzzy creature,
Yes, and he often does get mistaken for bears. But yeah, no, we're giving you more facts than the fact that he is the reigning hide and go seek champion. So,
you remember the T-shirt I got Thea down when we were in the Redwoods, right?
No.
It's the Bigfoot one that says, I've been social distancing longer than all of you.
Oh, I got a social distancing. I should have actually wore that one today. I've worn it on one of the podcasts. I can't remember which one. Go and look for it. Send me a message. I'll send you stickers. I got a ton of them. Look right here. I'll send you some Wandering Ways stickers. You just got to tell me which one and what I'm wearing that shirt. And you can look at all the videos. I think that one's probably going to be on YouTube though. So make sure you go and check out the YouTube.
Oh, and I want to, as you bring up stickers, I want to give Janice a shout out on the Instagram. She reached out to the Rougarou and asked for some Wandering Ways stickers. So shout out to Janice. Thank you so much. We're glad you're tuning in. So thank you.
We love it. We love it. We love it. But okay, we're going to start off with some of the easy facts, things you need to know when you're out looking and you're like, is that our boy Big?
Exactly.
One of the big things is his height.
Yeah. He's a tall guy.
Yeah. He there's 2 kind of thoughts to how tall he is. There's the 6 to 9 foot range, or there's the 10 to 15 foot range. So,
and I've heard both ranges even being used as like adult and juvenile for both those ranges too. So basically it's your humanoid type, tall human, your Yao Ming's walking around, your Shaquille O'Neal's.
You're gonna see was it oh shoot, what is it? He was another basketball player. He played for Boston. Wasn't it Taco?
Taco Fall?
Yeah, Taco Fall. He is another ginormous human being. Bigfoot is probably up there with him in size.
Yeah, and not only that, he's a furry creature.
Yes.
He's a tall, furry creature. So this thing, to me, and this is my personal belief, I've heard stories. I've heard stories from the Navajo. I've heard stories from the Crow, from various tribal people up in Washington about the Bigfoots and what they've seen. And it sounds like they do groom themselves. But my belief is you're a giant fur ball walking around a forest. You're going to have you're going to look like a ghillie suit walking around, in my thought.
Yeah, and I'm sure they do somewhat like maintain their coats, but it's got to be hard.
Well, I think so. I mean, I go hunting. I know you've been hunting. You hunt an animal that has a little bit thicker fur. A deer and elk, they don't really have that same thicker fur. But you look at like a bison or a bear and like their fur, they'll have, bugs in it. They'll have, sap or something from a tree in it. So it's going to be kind of matted too, I think. The story that I was telling you about Navajo, and I've talked about it on the podcast before, is that the horses down there would go up into the mountains where the Bigfoot supposedly lived, and the horses would come back with their hair braided.
Oh yeah, you have talked about that before.
Yeah, so I assume like with some maintenance, they might even braid their own hair if that story rings true.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't surprise me. you know. And but one thing I've seen with a lot of Bigfoot sightings, when you get up close or closer to Bigfoot, is they talk about the smell being pretty bad,
Yeah,
pretty pungent.
and that was something I think we even talked to Rick about,
Yeah.
is the smell, um the the fact that you have to like almost go out at night to see them because their eyes even have like a more of a nocturnal looking eye.
Mm-hmm.
um and I mean, it makes sense, you come across like any animal, they do kind of smell. They're not taking baths or showers like we are. Yeah, they'll go in the water, but like the water is full of silt and other, algae and stuff, so it's not going to be
Yeah, and they
necessary.
don't have Dove, so
Yeah, they don't have soap. Yeah, exactly.
so they don't have Dove, or they don't have deodorant, so they sweat, so they're gonna create smells.
Well, and you're talking about a giant, right? So my
Yeah.
thought too is you got the smell of a giant. Like I look at like in high school, the basketball players, right? They were big dudes. They were sweaty after games and they stunk after games. And
Yeah.
I'm thinking you're a big like ape-like man walking through the forest. You're going to get stinky.
Yeah, no, that's very true. You are going to smell. Going along to keeping with some of the facts about like the size and shape of our boy Big. Um, this one I just want to say because I think it's kind of funny, is this one stating that he weighs about 35 stones. So
Oh,
whatever I don't know what stone they use for this measurement, which is why I think it's funny. Um, so it's like, okay, 35 of them. That's what we got.
are we talking? Yeah, are we talking the little guys or the big guys?
Yeah, right. What kind of stone? All right, what is this stone made out of? Is it, what kind of rock is it?
If I had to guess, I would say you're looking at 300 to 900 pounds.
Yeah, I would think so. I would think so too. I
For
definitely think he's got to be about 3 to 9, probably
yeah.
closer to the fours.
Well, have you ever seen those like tuna shows, those big 1,000-pounder tunas they catch, where it's like they lay it down and the thing's huge.
Yeah,
That's kind of my thought. Is yeah, your average ones are going to be 700 to 800 pounds, but every once in a while you might come across that grander of a Sasquatch.
I know. I was just my thought process in trying to judge how big Sasquatch would be is I was thinking about Aaron Donald, and I
Oh
was
God,
like,
yeah.
he's a massive human being. So like if you just like double or maybe even tripled, you're gonna be looking at 400 or 500 pounds. So then that was my guess on how to judge how big Sasquatch is.
Well, I would say of like a lean muscle too, because the other thing you're not getting with these things is you're not getting overweight ones. You're not getting,
How funny
uh,
would that be though?
oh, it'd be hilarious.
You just see a tubby Sasquatch out there.
But I think that's how we would see them.
Yeah.
It would be a lazy one.
The first one we ever see will be Tubby.
What's up, guys? He's going to a trash can to eat out of a trash can, picking up like half a pizza someone threw away.
Yeah, or a Kit Kat or a Twinkie.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, and what's interesting, you bring up some interesting facts, talking about, kind of who and what he looks like, how he is. I'm sitting there and I'm trying to think of our wanderers who don't know, they're like Bigfoot. What's a Bigfoot? Sasquatch. I'm like we're saying, I think he's, the best type of description is going to be like a silverback gorilla, but
Yeah.
walking. And yeah, they walk. That's the other thing, is that's the difference. And bears don't walk, they walk on four legs, and when they do walk on two legs, it's kind of a waddle, I feel like, because they're not used to doing that. whereas the Sasquatch is more of like us humans, where we walk kind of normal. Being as big as they are, I think they would kind of walk with their feet pointed outwards, kind of like you do see in some of the footprint stuff, but just kind of just large, the large, like,
I mean,
legs. I don't know. That's just my thought.
yeah, maybe. I mean, I'm sure that there's a mixture, kind of similar to humans in that way, where there are some that are, more duck-footed, normal, and then pigeon-toed kind of. So I'm sure there's a definite difference between it. When it does come to feet, they are, known for having massive feet, hence the name Bigfoot. Um,
Well, I think that comes from like the cat, like that's all the true evidence that has been out there. The main evidence that has been out there is these footprints, is the castings of these large feet. I personally like to think they're real, because obviously not all of them. Some of them are going to be hoaxes, some of them are going to be fake or staged, but there's enough out there to where I think there is some truth and history behind it, when it comes to, like, yeah, that actually could be a Bigfoot footprint. The people, like, that's the other thing, is I think sometimes the people, they discredit those doing the research, because there are some wackos and loonies that believe in this kind of stuff, and you may call me a wacko or loony because I believe in it, and that's fine. But you look at guys like Grover Krantz, who was dedicated himself to research. You look at like the Patterson Gimlin film, and those old men going to their deathbeds saying, no, this is that. And you look at like Jeff Melbourne of Idaho, who he studied, like, he's a college professor who studies anthropology, but he has the fun in the Bigfoot. He has the fun with, like, hey, I'm going to do a class on this, as opposed to everything else. And you can't necessarily discredit those guys, because they have put in the time and effort and history and everything that goes into their research and knowledge for everything.
Yeah, they've definitely worked hard. That's very true. They've worked quite hard to figure out if this guy is real or not. And I'm thankful for it, because I think they've done a good job. The other one, like, for evidence wise, isn't, like, most of it is the casting of footprints, for sure. I mean, we talked about footprints with Dawn the Big Red Sky, or Big Red Sky. And that's the big one, but there's also been cases of hair, people looking into hair. There's even rumor the FBI has looked at Bigfoot hair and trying to figure out if Bigfoot is real or not. Apparently they have never released the results, or they're inconclusive or something like that. There's I forget the researcher's name, but there's a researcher down in Texas that claims they have actual Bigfoot DNA. But no scientific journal will publish it. That goes into the discrediting of the work that they do. So,
100%. And I forget the name, and I've told you to listen to this podcast. But it's a lady, and she's a journalist, and she dives in kind of to Bigfoot and talks about Bigfoot, and she's actually related to Grover Krantz, and kind of interesting that theory there. But they go and actually investigate in Washington some beds, so some matted down trees, some large circular beds. So when you go out in the fields, you can go see where, like, deer sleep at night, because they lay down these beds, or elk or bison, whatever. And similar to that, the Bigfoot, and they're like, these things are a little more complex made, where they're they're weaving together tree branches, and they're making these things large. And they did DNA samples on the mud, and they couldn't find anything in that study. But I also like to think that the DNA is going to be very similar to humanoid type DNA. And that might be why it would come back inconclusive or not at all, because these things, I like, my personal belief is that they've come off the line just like chimpanzees or gorillas or monkeys. You know how like we're all Homo, but you know there's a reason human is Homo sapien. You know?
Oh yeah. There's the whole, which that's interesting. I read a book on like the oldest like humanoid, like direct relative of humans. There's a book on it called, I believe, Fossil Men. If I had my bookcases in my other room, otherwise I'd have the actual, I'd pull the book out. But super good read, highly recommend it. But they talk about like the split off, and so I mean, I definitely believe, that there is a split. Now the question is, who did we split from, right? Did humans split from the chimpanzee, or did the chimpanzee split from humans? That's different conversation. But
Yeah.
I definitely think there was a split, because you hear of similarities between a true human or a Homo sapien and then a gorilla, which I'm not totally sure the scientific name of a gorilla. I can look it up though, because part of me is curious. So.
Well, but you're exactly right with the gorillas and us being similar to chimpanzees and monkeys, and even just the fact that like we share similar DNA to just everything around us, and like even our dogs and cats, we're going to share DNA with them because we're mammals. We're not different than the animals around us. We like to think we're different because we as a society can think and communicate on levels unbeknownst to us. I can send a text to someone in Tokyo right now if I really wanted to. And that's communication. We as a species have been able to do that. Not all species have been able to do that. All species are at different ages, but there has been even proof that there are monkeys that are entering a stone age. So the fact that you can evolve and change, and you like you say, there's a lot of history out there with Bigfoot, especially in tribal history, that dates back thousands of years, if not, well, like what you said, that they believe the art in California, there's a cave drawing of the hairy men, and that's what it's called, and that's what the natives of that area has always referred to that painting as, of the hairy men that live with us.
And for people that don't know that story, just so they kind of get it, the hairy man picture he's talking about. So on the Tool River Indian Reservation in California, there's petroglyphs created by a group, and I'm going to butcher the name, I'm sorry, of Yokuts at Yokuts, if you want to help me out there. But at a site called the Painted Rock, there's allegedly some petroglyphs of a group of Bigfoots called the family. Then the local tribesmen called the largest of the glyphs the hairy man that Zach was talking about.
Okay. And there we go. Thank you. And I totally think with the tribal history there, and then you take a word like Sasquatch, right, which is a synonym for Bigfoot. But that Sasquatch word comes from the coastal Salish language in the Pacific Northwest United States. There's even stories of Bigfoot going to the Chippewa and Cree tribes around the Great Lakes area. Then you take into like American history and the people down in Florida or New Jersey or even the East Coast that have Bigfoot stories, down in Arkansas, down in the Missouri Ozarks. So there's an understanding or a legend or lore or whatever you want to call it of this hairy creature living in the wilderness away from society. Whether that be this Bigfoot or someone who's been kind of kicked out, it's pretty large when you look at the area, I think. Even you go over to the Himalayas, they have the Yeti, which would be in my imagination when you hear the descriptions, and that it's your cousin if you're Bigfoot in America. It's the cousin species over in the Asian continent. So there's when you start laying it out and putting, I like to think of those crime scene, those investigators when they're putting all the papers up on the wall.
Yeah.
It really does start to make sense when you do that and you start to lay it out.
Yeah, no, totally. Going back to kind of the native folklore, the native lore about it, they considered it like the protector of the woods kind of deal. So it would make sense to me that there would be this, I don't want to use the term outcast here, but there is that group that's hidden in the forest that there's
like a recluse, right?
Yeah, recluse. But I'm trying to think, there's a good and this is an ape, but it's not Bigfoot. There's a King Kong movie. It's one of the more recent ones, the Kong Skull Island. And they have this island and they talk, King Kong, king of the island, but he's the protector of the island type deal. So there's that kind of parallel that I could see with the Sasquatch being, again, not a giant King Kong, but giant ape-like creatures and being protectors of this known kind of environment, whether it's the heart of the redwoods or the mountains of Montana, Idaho, or Wyoming or whatever, or all the way in New Jersey, all the way kind of anywhere here in North America.
Well, I like that you say that too, because I like to look at like our native histories and just take the general public, right? And the general United States public, and the fact that our history books do not teach you what happened to Native Americans from the truth. They teach you that the white man moved west, for manifest destiny, and basically if you didn't agree with it or didn't listen to their rules, you'd be killed. And then you had to listen to their rules and become part of their society and go through the systematic racism that still exists to this day. But what isn't taught is the fact that before the Indian Wars, the reason the Indian Wars exist are because of that manifest destiny. People pushing other tribes into your land, people pushing themselves, putting up fences on your land, right? That's what's going to create those wars. Before that, there was not those wars. There was the trading posts. There was the societies where tribes intermarried other tribes. There was culture, society, economics going on. And when you look at the way they talk about the Bigfoot and kind of talking it as if it was almost another tribe or another group of people living in the woods doing their own thing, calling them like your cousin, or brother in the woods. There's something there, right? There's some sort of root for that. And you go over, I go over to Washington. I've been out on those islands. I've talked to people who have been like, here's a photo of a Bigfoot footprint I saw this morning, because they're that active in my area.
Yeah, no, 100%.
So, it's crazy. It's interesting because we just write it off, because, there's no picture, there's no video evidence. Oh, you haven't captured one. So we as humans write it off.
Yeah, that's it's not cool shit of them. It's not some good shit for them. But speaking of cool shit, so I was kind of thinking of getting into sport fishing again, but I feel like I need a good quality net.
Well, you know what, Reverend? I got the key solution for you. Our friends at Blue Ribbon Net make this eco-friendly aquafade bag, so you're not hurting the environment. It's 100% biodegradable. Plus, the wood is locally sourced, and it is also biodegradable, and it's just such a great company to use. The Blue Ribbon Nets, they're here in Bozeman, Montana, and we even have a discount code That's right. If you use the code Rougarou10, that's right. That's my Jeep, the Rougarou. Rougarou10, Rugaru10. You're going to get some discount on a blue ribbon net. You know, you can get the long one if you're fishing the big fish, or you can get just the good river one, you know, if you're like me and just want to catch a lot of fish.
So again, make sure you go check out Blue Ribbon and use the promo code Rougarou10.
Hey there, Reverend. I heard that you might be running dry on your sticker supplier.
Yeah, I've been looking around and I've kind of like run out of cool stickers to buy and put on water bottles and stuff.
Well, I mean, have you seen the stuff Josh has been coming out with lately?
No, I have not.
Well, he is doing some really cool stuff with the Shop LS 574. Yes, they're working with indigenous communities and making some really cool stickers. He has a really cool Buffalo Mountain sticker. There's even water bottles, hats, sweatshirts, the whole swag. And we even got a discount code for you guys. Yes, if you use Wandering Ways at Shop LS 574, you're going to be getting a discount on your next purchase. But not only that, you're going to be giving a percentage of that sale to the Little Shell Tribe, as well as they donate $1 of every sale to murdered and missing Indigenous women. So just such a cool thing going on there. You know, you use the code Wandering Ways, WANDERING WAYS, and you put that in there, boom, you're getting a discount.
That's not cool shit. But this right now is time for cool shit in nature. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to bring it up. So this first one I got two yet again, like I always do.
Might as well, huh?
Yeah, I got a video and a picture. We're going to start with the video. This is Mother Nature doing Mother Nature type things, i.e. Some ice is melting, an ice dam melted, and the water is being released down the river.
Oh,
and
dang.
If there's anything people should understand, is water is powerful as shit.
It's crazy. This is amazing to watch.
Yeah, and you get what's cool about this one is all the ice that comes with it.
Well, because exactly what you're saying, it's that ice dam. It's the ice holding all this water, holding all this wood, debris, other ice chunks up, and it just goes one day. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly it. It's that one part of the river that's holding strong, and then it just lets go. And I'm watching that Life Below Zero from the very beginning, and there's one guy, he lives on the Yukon River. Andy Bassich. And in 2009, the Yukon River did this, and it flooded his whole area. He had some like dog sledding dogs that got killed because of it. He was up on his roof and had to be rescued by like a helicopter. And every year, that's his worry, is that spring ice breakup. Is because that day when it happens, he's like, this is the day I see if my house is going to be here or not. Like,
I believe it. Because, I mean, shit, you know, that's why they make a big deal about dams and stuff. Like if they bust, you know, tsunamis, that's why they're so powerful.
So, well, and it's not necessarily like water, yes, is powerful. You know, you use water to pressure wash things, to you know, just clean, you know, it cleans, it breaks down things. You look at the coasts, right? That's water hitting it and wind.
Yeah.
But when it comes to stuff like this, think of those ice chunks. Look at the trees. There's
all the shit that comes with it. Yeah.
That's what kills people.
Yeah, that's very true.
You know, look at that big old tree in there. Oh,
yeah.
Well, these are these guys, huh?
Yeah. So this is the picture. This is the second one. I like this one because it shows that, you know, we can mingle across species here. And so the people that are just listening, it's a picture of what looks to be like 7 beluga whales and 1 narwhal.
Yes. Have you seen the documentary where they talk about this, right?
Yes. I believe it's on Disney Plus. It's
I
about
think,
the whales or something whales.
yeah, the different cool whales, and they tracked a pack of narwhals like this.
Yeah.
They were going up, and then this one like leaves them, just completely leaves them and goes in the other direction and joins up with these belugas to live with these belugas.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, it's nuts that they do that, you know. One, it's cool that they are able to actually like mingle across like that.
Well, they're cousins, I think, in the species realm. They're like
Yeah, I
really.
think they're closely related. You know, when it comes down to you know, I think it's bigger. I think it's a smaller gap when it comes to like, you know, beluga to narwhal than like say beluga to an orca or a killer whale,
I
right?
think these two are, yeah, some of the closest you can get with
Yeah.
whales. But you know, as they talk about the narwhal being the unicorn of the sea,
Yeah.
they talk about we talk about other things with Bigfoot. They talk about the just like anomalies, you know, like unicorns, the aliens, the just random fairies, pixies, whatever you want to call them, that come into thing. I want to know, as someone who's seen Bigfoot himself, and that's probably why you're a believer, is because you have no other explanation for what you saw. Do you think that he is in the supernatural realm? And with that, I mean like the alien realm, where there's a lot of people that believe Bigfoot's an alien and he can come and go, the orbs, all the different things you hear.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No. I don't believe in the supernatural part of Bigfoot. You know, I know there's like orbs been associated with them, and there's a bunch of other stuff like that. And I don't believe. I think they're just kind of nomadic creatures that live in the forest. And yeah, the forest is massive. While it is getting smaller and smaller every day, it seems like the forest is still massive. There's a lot we still don't know about forests. We can't scatter the forests um, like we think we can. So they're to me they're a nomadic creature wandering the forest up and down, east and north, south, east, west. They're kind of just going where they can ever they can go, kind of deal.
Now, I have a similar understanding and belief to you. I just had to ask because I know that's quite common.
Yeah.
A common belief is they think, you know, I'm sure you could do studies with like the electromagnetic activity in the like in the areas around us in the, you know, in our current world, to do that when you're looking for Bigfoot to see if that increases or not. But I think it's along the science. I think this creature is a smart creature, you know, just like the human. When you talk about that link or just the way it breaks off, I think there is some sort of comprehensive thinking going on in this creature's mind. I think that's why this creature avoids us, because it's seen the destruction and damage we have done. Maybe that's it. Maybe we're supposed to be living with the people, as hairy people as we should be, but we're not. You know, we're not living in the forest. We're not living with the land. We're living against it and ruining it. But
Yeah, you know, maybe the true meaning to world peace is when we can live in harmony with the Sasquatch. So it could be, you know.
more
So
so in harmony with this green, beautiful world we need to keep beautiful.
yes, I mean that's very true. So now I kind of want to do a little bit more of like an interesting some facts that people claim that may or may not be true. But they're facts about Bigfoot. I think some of them are true, and some of these are a little, in my opinion, a little out there. Um, but this first one I think is absolutely hilarious and awesome here. So in 1965, Bigfoot was officially put on the endangered species list in Russia. And then Germany and France followed suit in 1967.
That's really interesting to me, because when you look at, again, the evidence, right? One of the biggest pieces of evidence is the Patterson-Gimlin film, which comes out of California, Bluff Creek, California, where Roger Patterson, they're sitting on horses and they film one, and it's not terrible quality. Based for the 60s, you're like, this could be someone in a suit, because that is the quality. But for the 60s, it's great quality. They've even broken down the film so much to think that Bigfoot in particular is a female.
Yeah.
But 1967 is the date. And that's really interesting when you talk about that, with those other countries doing that, because that's around that same time. So what's going on in the 60s about Bigfoot? You have the Korean War as well in the US.
Yeah, you got was it peace, love, and tranquility, right in the beginnings of the psychedelic age.
It's an interesting time in our history, in the world history, in the United States history. And you see that like why are countries putting them on the endangered species? Is it a joke? And I look at like the 60s, and governments weren't really joking back then with stuff like that. They were a little more serious.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could see it today in the 2020s.
Yeah.
As a joke, but back then I don't, and I'm worried. I'm not worried, but I'm like, something probably was happening. They are killing me. They're being killed off, or the deforestation is killing them off. I'm also interested in the journals. If there can find some journals from the 49ers when they are going into California for the gold rush.
It is interesting that you should bring up journals.
Okay.
It is. And I don't really have one from like the gold rush age, but this is a journal, or maybe it's not a journal, but it's a book. So there's a famous president. We may know him, but Theodore Roosevelt.
Oh, yeah.
Book in 1893, The Wilderness Hunter. Maybe it's a good read. But he writes of a story he was told by an elderly mountain man named Bauman, Bauman, in which a foul-smelling bipedal creature ransacked his beaver trapping camp, stalked him, and later became hostile when it fatally broke his companion's neck in the wilderness in Idaho-Montana border.
So you're talking right here. You're talking a Bigfoot death.
Well, no, only an injury to the neck.
Oh, so he didn't mean to hurt him.
Well, there's no death. Now, he may have died later, this person, due to the injuries to the neck. But Bigfoot did not kill the creature right then and there.
I'm interested because this is it's a beaver. It's back in the day. It's older. And maybe that's the thing is
it is also a third party account,
but there's a lot of them.
Theodore Roosevelt telling us the story of a story he was told.
Yeah, the telephone game.
Yeah, I've played the telephone game enough.
I'm interested in this one. Let's just say that. I'm interested in the fact that like you do hear these stories. But when you do hear stories of people in Bigfoot, they dedicate their lives to like they see a Bigfoot, and it's like that moment they dedicate their life to like finding the thing again or understanding it a little bit more. I'm not saying everyone who does that sees that or has that, but it's interesting because when you listen to some Bigfooters, that it's the moment I saw him, I knew.
Yeah.
And like I wanted to do this or I wanted to do that. So that to me is also an interesting fact when you talk about these stories and the fact that, yes, it is a third hand. But again, Bigfoot is also one of those things that for the longest time, and I would say before 2000s, before the 2000 millennia, they, you don't talk about that. You're a crazy person. It's kind of weird to have a Bigfoot encounter. It's kind of different. So you're not going to tell the story, so you're going to want to tell it through a third party as well.
Yeah, that's interesting.
People you trust.
It is more like when you tell a story like this nowadays, it's oh, that person's crazy, rather than like, oh, this person had an experience, is it true or not type deal.
Yeah,
that is an interesting point. I don't think I would normally make that one.
Well, to me, why I say it is because I have been approached by people, because my Jeep, it's the Bigfoot, the official Bigfoot research vehicle, the Wandering Ways podcast, because we got to be out in nature to look for Bigfoot. And when I'm out there, people ask me all the time, and they're almost hesitant to tell that story. But the younger kids, the younger generations aren't as much. No. It's that older generation of like, I don't want to be called crazy. I don't know.
Yeah. So let's get into another Bigfoot fact here.
I love them.
So the eating habits of Bigfoot have been widely disputed. Some researchers suggest that Bigfoot may be vegetarian, while others believe that he is carnivore. And it has also been reported that Bigfoot has a thing for Kit Kat bars. Which that's the one I'm like, what?
And I've heard Twinkies too. I've heard like they like desserts. Maybe that's just maybe the Bigfoot researchers like desserts, and that's why.
Maybe also that's how you can tell Bigfoot's American.
Yeah,
Twinkies.
Exactly.
And that's how we're gonna catch our tubby Bigfoot.
Exactly. There you go. We're on to something here.
We're just gonna go. Well, I would say, that's what we should do. Just go leave a bunch of Twinkies out in the forest and just watch the pile of Twinkies. But I think we would attract a lot of things if we just left Twinkies.
Right? No, yeah. We'd be like, oh shit, like what do we got?
That would be interesting to see what the hell we caught, what you could catch with a Twinkie. Probably a lot of possums for some reason.
Yeah, or I would say, just squirrels or rabbits, kind of just the first thing on the scene. I'm going to go out on a limb, and my belief in Bigfoot, I think he's a vegetarian, because I believe if he was a carnivore, that's where we would have more evidence of him, knowing that he's going and eating and killing things. That's where you might get them eating a human or killing a human. Whereas like you don't hear about that as much. You don't come across like a dead bear and be like, what the heck killed this?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I think so too. I think he's more, more roots, more kind of berries, that kind of. I mean, maybe he munches in on some bugs.
But more like a bear, or like a more omnivore-ish.
Yeah, more. But not. I don't know. I don't think they really do eat meat of any kind. Like even if they're scavenging.
Well, and that's the thing, is we've never really found one, and I would like to see its teeth, because their teeth are going to tell you if it's eating meat or grass. And I'm like I said, my guess is going to be more the grass, the plant, because that's what you see monkeys eat more so, is the fruit, the grass.
Yeah.
They're also known to eat meat here and there too. So, I mean.
Indeed. So moving on to another, this one can help you if you are ever confronted by Bigfoot, apparently. This is also another one where I'm like, I don't know how much, because it goes against the storyline that Bigfoot are relatively non-violent creatures. But this one is, if you are confronted by Bigfoot, offer it food. Offering it food will provide you with an 80% chance of survival, while crying will provoke the animal to punch you in the face, according to Bigfoot Finder, which is a website dedicated to spotting the creature.
I'm interested in the 80% calculation. Where does
Yeah, the whole 80-20 thing is interesting to me too.
What's the data pool there in the like?
It's off of Bigfoot Finder, which is a website.
I know, but is this like that could be 1 in 4
Yeah,
or one in 5?
it would be interesting to see where they got that number from, because 80 seems like 80%. It seems like they just pulled that number out of their ass.
Well, and I understand offering it food.
It's probably why they know they like Kit Kats, is because someone's like, I don't have anything here, have a Kit Kat. And the Bigfoot's like, damn, that's some good shit.
Jack Links, I think, is the preferred the Bigfoot food. But yeah, no, I agree. I think you give him food, or it's like, to me, that's almost like an offering. Like you're giving him like a peace offering there. That going back to the native, when you go to a native community or native culture and you're gonna use them for something like research or education stuff, always bring a gift, always bring that offering. And I could see that with the Bigfoot being that type of way. I don't know. The other thing that kind of interests me though is when we did talk with Rick Rells about it, he talks about the energy that these things put off. And
he does.
And you can, I can feel the energy in the room when a conversation is going a certain way, or, Mark's having a bad day because he dropped his phone in the water and that's all he's focused on. I can feel that energy you're putting off. I know you don't drop your phone in the water, but
yeah, I don't think I've ever dropped my phone.
That's me. That's me. But
I'm known for having good energy, is what I'm told.
Okay.
No, but there is the whole energy thing. We talked about it with Rick, where you reach that point where it's like, nah, I'm not going any farther, because like that energy is just like, nah.
And we see that we've had that experience with certain animals, with bison in Yellowstone, where you're like, no, I'll step back, you can have this. But and I've had that energy with like dogs and cats of like, you're giving me a vibe, I don't want to pet you, I don't want to be around you.
Yeah.
And I'm sure with the creature and the size of the creature, that energy is going to be bigger, because your awareness is more aware, I guess, is a way of saying that. But in those moments, you're going to feel that. You're going to be like, this thing can probably run 2, 4, 3, 9 steps, and he's there. I am 3 times as much steps to that point. I'm good.
It's interesting you should point that out, because Bigfoot has been theorized to run up to 35 miles per hour.
That's fast.
But yeah, that's pretty quick. I do want to leave everyone with one kind of last little bit of tidbit information, because I think it's pertinent for right now and this time of year, if you are going out to look for our boy Big there. March and April is Bigfoot mating season. This is the time that Bigfoot are looking for love. So, they could be a little bit more aggressive this time of year. So be out on the lookout. They're theorized to mate similar to gorillas, if you're curious of how they do their thing. But it is, in theory, this is their mating season. So if you are going out, be careful. Don't make yourself look too good.
On that note, because I kind of see where we're headed here, I want to drop, if you don't want to go look for Bigfoot, but you want to see some Bigfoot stuff, there's some good shows, there's some good movies you can watch. There's Harry and the Hendersons.
That's a classic.
Exactly. The Missing Link from 2019. That was a good one, animation about Bigfoot being that missing link. In the 80s, there's a movie called Night of the Demon, as well as Hell Night. In 2013, Willow Creek came out. In 2006, Abominal, probably talking about more so the Bigfoot's cousin, the Yeti. There's the Sasquatch Gang from 2006. The Legend of Boggy Creek from 1972. Snow Beast from 77. There's tons. You go to IMBD or imdb.com, the movie website. You can search by Sasquatch and Bigfoot and you can find different ones. 2015, Fishing Naked. It's a comedy. 3.9 stars out of, I don't know.
There you go. But yes, no, we are getting to that point because it is time for me to be that guy as we are entering into our final words today. So that being said, final words, my guy.
I have all my notes here and I don't even think we went through them all, which is crazy because I was kind of like, are we going to be able to finish and talk about Bigfoot for an hour? And we are going to talk about him longer than an hour today, it seems like, because there's a lot. But we, like I said, go check out our other episodes. We have some interesting Bigfoot ones. If you're not into Bigfoot one, go check out one of the national park ones because that's probably what you're more into. But we like to have fun here. We like to go out into nature. We want to go look for things and find things we haven't found before and see things we haven't seen before. And that's the whole purpose of looking for Bigfoot from Wandering Ways, is we would love to get out everywhere and go find everything we can. I've been to Yellowstone too many times to count, and I've never seen a wolverine yet. There's a guy from Florida who's there for the first time and sees one. And there's only 6 in the park, which is crazy when you do the numbers. Yeah. Just like that, you never know what you're going to see. You got to get out to go see it. You're not going to, yes, you can see things on a screen, but I don't think that counts. Just like seeing my thing is, like, you see the bear in the binoculars and its little dot on the hill.
Oh, yeah.
It counts, but does it? You know what I mean?
That's always your argument, is does it count, actually? So I don't know.
I'm asking, and you guys let us know. Shoot us an email at wanderingwayspodcast@gmail.com, WANDERINGWAYSPODCAST@gmail.com. Let us know what your definition of seeing a Bigfoot, if you have a Bigfoot story, what seeing an animal out in the wild is, how you count it, how you check it off the box, because we want to know. We love to hear from you. If you got great stories, we'd love to hear. With that being said, Reverend, I'm going to toss you the torch.
Reverend's final words of wisdom. Stay beautiful, everybody. I can't tell you how much I appreciate every single one of you for listening, sticking around for all of that. Hearing about our boy Big. He's out there. Like Wayne Gretzky says, you miss the shots that you don't take. So you miss the opportunities of seeing Bigfoot for every trip you don't take out in the woods. So go out, check your local forest, your local park, whatever it is. Get outside, check it out. The weather's starting to get beautiful, and so it is worth getting outside, especially if you have any planned for some summer trips. Might have to get into shape for those summer trips, and now's the time to start. Because if you don't wait, if you wait, you're never going to catch up, and you're going to feel like shit, and you're going to throw up on the side of a mountain. But that being said, peace out, everybody.